President-elect Donald Trump has apparently made good on one of his promises to Elon Musk by creating a Department of Government Efficiency and placing him, along with Vivek Ramaswamy, in charge of it. So they're going to be co-chairs. I don't know, two of those two chairs, I mean, seems kind of redundant. You might be more efficient if you get rid of one of them. I'm just saying. In a statement, Trump said this: "I am pleased to announce the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Ugh. Together, these two wonderful Americans will pave the way for my administration to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Essential to the Save America movement, this will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people," stated Mr. Musk. Oh, great! We've got a meme department because Doge. It's the meme, the little dog. So yeah, look, there's some good news, I guess. It's a silver lining, I should say. It's been reported that it's not immediately clear how the department, of which Trump said would provide advice and guidance from outside government, would actually operate. Yeah, I'm sure they don't even know. Any major changes in spending would have to be passed through Congress. Now, look, Republicans apparently will now control the House, or control the Senate. And so, okay, that's not good. That said, there's no guarantee what's going to end up getting cut, because every Republican has their own little pet project and, concerns. And so, and the other thing too is, this is not going to be a part of government. This is not a real department. It's basically a commission. It's like Simpson Bowls, okay? It's going to basically tell Donald Trump what the billionaires want cut, okay? So that's not to say that they can't do a lot of harm based on these recommendations. I mean, the first target's obviously going to be regulations, which I think are already on the chopping block. Lisa Gilbert, co-president of the watchdog group Public Citizen, said of this, quote, "The purpose of government regulations is to protect the American people. We all depend on these regulations to protect our air, water, workers, children's safety, and so much more. Cutting red tape is shorthand for getting rid of the safeguards that protect us in order to benefit corporate interests. Our problem is corporate capture of so much of our public policy, not this lie that corporations are held back by too many rules." Okay? That's not to say that there aren't regulations that can be an issue. And what do I mean by that? I'm not taking a right-wing position. In reality, there are companies that will lobby these, politicians to pass regulations that would affect their competitors. And so that, when you look at that, yeah, that's corporate capture and making it so that it's more difficult for competitors to, compete against you. And so, yeah, that's one issue where I do see there can be some problems with regulation, right? But that's not what they're going to do. Okay, that's not what they're going to focus on. All right, they're just going to focus on ones that actually do protection of workers. Okay, and the environment. Now, Gilbert continued saying, "Musk not only knows nothing about government efficiency and regulation, his own businesses have regularly run afoul of the very rules he will be in position to attack in his new czar position. This is the ultimate corporate corruption. If anyone had any doubts whether the Trump government aims to serve regular people or the billionaires, they should now be resolved." Understand that this is exactly what it's about. Elon Musk bought his way into Donald Trump's inner circle, okay? And now gets to tell him what regulations he should get rid of. Not only that, but what agencies Trump should get rid of. And so it's not going to be a surprise when it's announced that some or all of the 9 federal agencies that have been looking into alleged misconduct inside of Musk's businesses, 3 of them are going to either be dismantled or, restaffed with Donald Trump loyalists who are not going to touch Musk at all. And the way that he can do that, of course, is change Schedule F employment, which would allow him to fire those who work for the public good and replace them with political appointees who will end up doing his bidding, as well as Elon Musk's bidding. That's the whole plan. The New York Times reported on Wednesday that Musk has sat in on nearly every job interview with the Trump team and is trying to install his Silicon Valley friends in plum positions in the next administration. And so that's kind of why we're seeing the whole host of ghouls and goblins being appointed to these government positions. Can you think of anything swampier than that? I can't. And this was the guy that in 2016 ran on, I'm gonna clean the swamp, or I'm drain the swamp. It's more swampy now than it ever has been. All right. So look, even though that this is a fake department, there's no doubt it's going to lead to real harms, driven by some of the worst people you can imagine. And I'm not just talking about worst politicians, but like he's going to start posting what he should cut on X. Okay. On Tuesday, he pledged on X that such an office would post all of its actions online for transparency and tease the leaderboard for most insanely dumb spending of your tax dollars. So yeah, it's going to be put up for his paid followers on X to decide, hey, give me some ideas of what you want government cut. Okay, what parts of government you want dismantled, and then I might do them. Insane. Although imagine, of course, taking over that poll and putting things like oil subsidies on it at the top. Oh, yeah, that would be great. Doubt it's going to happen, but that'd be funny because those are pretty dumb. Let's be honest. That said, when it comes to government cutting, they're going to take a chainsaw to government. Okay, look, Musk claims he's going to be able to find $2 trillion to cut from the budget. Really? Yeah, that's going to be really difficult. Glenn Hubbard, an economist and former dean of Columbia University Business School, said it's going to be very challenging to slash that much spending if interest expenses, entitlement programs, and defense were off limits. And you know they're not going to touch defense, which leads Medicare and Medicaid. So remember, Social Security doesn't actually get paid for by the government at all. So that gets paid for by us and used by us, okay? Goes in a trust fund. So that's not government spending, but there's Medicare and Medicaid. Now, that said, Donald Trump already floated cuts to Medicaid during his first term and promised his base that they're not going to touch Medicare or Social Security. And so if they try, I mean, it's very likely to be a gigantic disaster for them. I mean, the midterm ads, assuming the Democrats are going to be smart enough to do it, they write themselves, Donald Trump tapped a billionaire to cut your Social Security. January 6th would look like a picnic, okay, if that happened. Just saying. So, yeah, they're going to have a very tough time cutting out the waste because it turns out a lot of these programs that are targeted by Republicans don't have a lot of it, don't have a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. It's not like the Republicans haven't been looking at these programs to find what they can cut. Look, anything that helps people is routinely gone through with a fine-tooth comb to find actual waste, fraud, and abuse. Remember, Republicans did that already in 2017. Mississippi and Illinois, for example, they spent millions of dollars searching for fraud, waste, and only to end up spending more than they would have actually saved or did actually save in kicking the few people that actually did do something wrong off the system. And in 2015, 10 states collectively spent $850,000 to drug test applicants for welfare. You know what they found? 321 positive tests out of tens of thousands of applicants. They ended up, again, spending much, much more money for those tests than they would have saved in denying benefits. So there's more. In 2010, California spent $150,000 to disable 6,500 ATMs in an effort to comply with a new federal law prohibiting TANF recipients from withdrawing funds at strip clubs, casinos, and liquor stores. Wait a minute. You might be like, well, obviously they're wasting this welfare money to go to the strip club. Wait, there's evidence that sometimes people just end up going to these ATMs because it's closer to their house, especially in tribal or rural areas. So there's no evidence that says that, oh, just because you're taking it out of the liquor store means you're going to buy a whole bunch of stuff. No, it just might be the only one available. And in 2001, Oklahoma spent over $3.5 million simply to verify the assets of low-income families applying for Medicaid, even as studies consistently showed that these households rarely have more than a few $100s in their bank accounts, if they have one at all. So these laws, these investigations, ended up being a complete and total waste of money, a boondoggle, if you will. Spending more money to verify that these people are poor or are not screwing over the system than they would have saved prior to this. So again, the fact is that waste, fraud, and abuse among these programs that help poor people is not the real problem. Okay, not that they'll pay any attention to the reality. Okay, again,
just forget about the evidence.
They're gonna try to probably cut them anyway. They'll just have to make things up. All right. That said, the real waste here in this country is pretty obvious: military spending and corporate welfare. Okay, tax cuts for the rich cost so much money. In fact, the Heritage Foundation notes that Americans are being taxed an extra $800 million a day, or $292 billion a year, to enrich special interests in the financial sector alone. Billions of dollars to corporations. Not only that, but you also have the subsidies. You know who gets some of those subsidies? None other than the Doge master himself, Elon Musk. That's right. The government's zero-emission vehicle credit system requires auto manufacturers produce a certain number of zero-emission vehicles based on the total number of cars sold in that state. It's reported that Tesla had actually accumulated $9 billion in February of 2024, according to Bloomberg, by selling those credits to other auto manufacturers that failed to meet their emission standards. That's just one example. In December of 2020, the FCC awarded SpaceX nearly $900 million in subsidies to expand its Starlink satellite internet service to rural areas. Now, that ended up getting pulled by the FCC in 2023 because it turns out the applicant failed to meet the program requirements. Oops. Where'd that money go, Elon? Where'd it go? It's gone. That's what happened. Right into his pocket, okay?
Bing, 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 boom. It's gone.
So there you go. So let me just wrap up this segment. There's a lot more to say, but I think you get it. So I'll just end with Ralph Nader's warning about Elon Musk. He said, quote, "Get ready this January for chaos, revenge, greed, rampant abuses of power, and the unbridled control of corrupt plutocrats and oligarchs, with Elon Musk in the lead." Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you become a member on our YouTube page, you become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.